What's up, everybody? Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden. In this episode, we're going to be doing a Power Rankings episode, which we haven't done for nearly a month now. So if you haven't seen this before on my show, about every month or so, I like to do a Power Rankings episode for content creators and journalists on the left who are doing good work or are on a hot streak in terms of their content and the numbers that they're putting up. And I like to give them shout outs and boost to them and, try to help the cause in that way. I tear down a lot of boutique leftists, but I also like to boost up a lot of really good content creators, big and small, on the left if I happen to notice, since I am consuming a fair amount of content every single day. If you guys notice, though, this is about a year removed from my first PFC Power Rankings episode, and my tastes have changed a lot in that year, but I think I've also changed my politics quite a bit, so this is quite a bit different than my first episode. In fact, there's only one common name on there, and quite frankly, I think I've evolved quite a bit in that year. I think I've become quite a bit more kind of Marxist-Leninist, evolving away from social democracy in that year, because I've learned a lot, and I'm listening to a lot more content and reading a lot more, so I think that's the natural evolution. Conversely, I think a lot of the content creators I used to watch have also devolved quite a bit and gone much more close to neoliberalism and social democracy for my taste, and I can't palate them anymore. That would be like the secular talks, the Doles, Figueiredos, TYTs of the world. I think it's a combination of both those things happening. So this is going to be quite a bit different. In my first Power Rankings episode, I ranked Kyle Kalinske number 1. I wish I could have that one back so badly. You have no idea. That was no good. But, I've evolved past him, and now I listen to quite a bit different content than that. So, without further ado, we're going to do the top 5 and an honorable mention. I'll start off with the honorable mention, which is Caleb Maupin. He has a YouTube channel, which I didn't know about until just now, like recently. Last week or so. So I haven't listened to a lot of his content on his channel, but I've seen him on a lot of other shows, and he seems like a very interesting guy. He's a socialist, and the reason I'm giving him a big shout out here is because he's right now battling a whole bunch of shitlibs online because he was vindicated by the recent Max Blumenthal and Kit Klarenberg Gray Zone article talking about how UK bread tubers are being basically bankrolled by UK intelligence. Abigail Thorne was the channel they were talking about. They were using her channel as like a vehicle to go out there and not only learn things about their audience, but do a psyop to learn as much as they could about their audience and their reactions to certain things in order to run a successful propaganda campaign to kind of disparage vaccine-hesitant channels and vaccine hesitancy in general. So that was exposed in the Gray Zone article, and Caleb Maupin wrote a book on this recently called BreadTube and How It Serves Imperialism, and he was completely vindicated by that. He was right, and now the entire shitlib left is coming after him, and he's just handed it right back to him. He's fighting his way out, and it makes me very happy to see. He's doing a great job, and he's growing because of it. You just keep doing what you're doing, Caleb. They're only coming after you because you were right. So you just keep swinging, bud. Keep doing what you're doing. Take it in stride. Their hatred is welcome. So Caleb Maupin is my honorable mention, and I will watch more of his YouTube channel here in the future, I promise. All right, now the top 5. Number 5, I've ranked this guy many times before. Been watching him about 9 months, is Jackson Hinkle and The Dive. Now, Jackson does similar to what I do. He actually does live streaming, but I mean, in terms of what he does, he goes out and he'll attack the boutique left, bogus tweets and bad takes from other content creators and basically just savage them, which I appreciate that. He also does the news, and he does like 2 or 3 hours worth of live streaming a day, which that's a lot of content. So I've been watching him for a while, and he actually was tied with a couple of other channels back in the day, and I did an episode on other political channels that were all about 23,000 subs at the time. Jackson was in third at 22.5-ish. And I wanted to kind of ascertain from the way those channels progressed as to how accurate PFC was in terms of if you go out there and attack the boutique left and bad takes, does that help you or hurt you? Because Jackson is definitely more the type that he's very aggressive and he'll go after you. He doesn't give a shit. He'll go out and cave your skull in, metaphorically, if you have a bad take or if you come after someone else on the left, which that's what I do. And Jackson has now overtaken those other two channels by a lot. He's knocking on the doorstep of 29,000 subs now, and that kind of confirms what I thought before. Those other channels have grown, but not nearly as much as Jackson, and I think it's just because he's unafraid to go out there and stir the pot, do the news, but also, bust some chops along the way. So I appreciate that. I think he's endearing. He always says what he's thinking. You can tell he's not bullshitting you. He's just kind of riffing, and he does a great job. So your channel's awesome. There's a reason you're growing, Jackson. You just keep doing you. All right? Number 4, and any other top 5, he would be higher than this, because the top 3 are so hot right now, he's number 4 is Franco from Frank Analysis. He had me on a couple of days ago, but that's not the reason I'm ranking him. It was a great conversation with that panel, but he recently also had on Dr. Martin Koldorf from the Great Barrington Declaration come on and talk about his alternative plans for the COVID vaccine rollout and how he doesn't believe that we should be vaccinating everybody, but instead just focused vaccinations along with other things that we could have done to avoid previous lockdowns. And that was a great episode, great interview with Franco, but the other thing that he did that was wonderful was he whooped Vosh's ass on vaccine mandates and got him to quit. So that is giving him the old 1-2, getting him on the mat. So Franco won that debate easily, Vosh quit. So Franco's number 4. He's been doing a ton of content lately. High abundance of really good content. And again, he's got all of these people on this list really have kind of like very genuine, very endearing personalities, which I really appreciate in my content creators. And I think that part of the reason that a lot of these creators are growing is because there's a paradigm shift in the way that Americans like their media and like their news. I don't think the days of MSNBC, Fox News, and the button-up types is really going to last that much longer. I don't think people really trust that type of media figure anymore. A lot of these people are popular because you can tell with their cadence and the way they deliver the news and what stories they pick that they give a damn. So I really like that about all of the people on this list, and Franco's no different. He does a ton of content, very informative, but also like an endearing, unique personality that I think draws people in. And ever since he KO'd Vosh, his channel's been growing a lot. Let's give him more subs, though, because he's on the bad boy algorithm with me, where it's almost impossible to grow. And any other planet, Franco he'd have 5 times the subs that he has right now, but because he's getting throttled by the algorithm because he's telling too much truth, he is where he is. So let's give him some subs. Franco, number 4. Number 3 is Russell Brand. I don't know if you guys have seen his numbers lately. Is at 4.71 million subs. And we're talking about Russell Brand, the actor. He was in Get Him to the Greek and a couple of other movies as well, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He now has basically backed off from that, and he does kind of like what I do. He just covers like 1 or 2 news stories a day, talks about life and his kitchen, basically. And so he's been growing like crazy because I actually ranked him about 6 months ago, maybe even less than that, and he was about 4 million subs. He had just eclipsed 4 million. He's put on 700,000 subs in 6 months. That is gargantuan. That is unbelievable numbers. So he's not really a political guy, but he kind of is. He just doesn't label himself so much one side or the other. He does happen to, I think, agree with some sort of Marxism, and you could tell that via his content. And again, he's very himself. He makes fun of politicians. He just kind of rambles and riffs and gives his opinion. You can tell he's not bullshitting you. So he's been bringing in subs in like droves, and he's got like 700, 800,000 views per video recently. So incidentally, he's breathing down the neck of TYT at this point. TYT is flatlined like crazy. They've been stuck at 5.17 million forever, and they don't get anywhere near Russell's views per video. He will, whether TYT likes it or not, sprint past them in the early parts of this year. I don't know how long it's going to take exactly. It depends on how hot Russell stays. But at some point, he's going to sprint past them like Jesus in sandals and be like, peace out, suckers. And that's going to be that. He'll be past them in subs, and it won't take very long. So Russell is number 3, and he's doing a great job. You just keep being you, keep putting out the content, and he's further evidence to this new paradigm shift I'm talking about, guys. People would rather hear their news from like a comedian or just some concerned citizen in their basement, so long as they can tell that they're not bullshitting you, and if you can relay the news to them in a funny or entertaining way, people like that all the more. That's Russell Brand. So, number 2, perennially ranked RBN, Revolutionary Blackout Network. Now, if you haven't seen their channel, they're a smaller channel. They're bigger than me, but they're a smaller channel than these other channels. They got about 13,000 subs, which they just passed today. So they do a lot of panel discussions and live streaming every single day for at least a couple of hours, and they cover the news, but like me, they joke, they jaw, they make fun of politicians, they smoke a bowl, they have sometimes 2, 3, 4 panelists on at once. Sometimes it's just the RBN crew, which is Nick Cruz, JB, Sabby Sabs, Rome, Afeni, CJ, just hanging out and talking politics for like 2 hours, which is also very entertaining and very fun to watch. So they have a great time, and they're completely unique personalities, and they all have unique perspectives, but they all agree that we need to, get behind a leftist movement of some sort that actually gets some things done, and they're not afraid to call people out along the way. And a lot of them also do other work on the side, which is cool. Like Sabby has her own show, JB has his own show, Nick has his Substack, which is really good too. So they're just churning out content and getting the word out there, and it's really fun to watch, and they inform you as well as entertain you, just like everyone else on this list. So I always rank them. They're super hot right now. Let's not let them fall behind that 13,000 subs milestone, because as we know, YouTube, as soon as you pass a milestone, sometimes they come through and wipe you out. So let's go sub to them, make sure that they don't knock them down to 12.9, because that's what YouTube always does with these people that are on the naughty algorithm. So RBN number 2, and number 1, this is easy, the numbers don't lie, it's Jimmy Dore. And you can like him or hate him, and you can like me or hate me for ranking him number 1, but the numbers do not lie for 2022. Jimmy Dore, I ranked him quite a bit lower in the last one because he was stuck at 917,000, and I made that episode right before New Year's. I think it was a couple days before New Year's. So now we're in the middle of January 14th right now. He's gone from 917 to 935,000. Again, averaging over 1,000 subs a day for 2 weeks. That is unheard of. I mean, Jimmy occasionally goes on runs like this, but he's even going longer on this one than he did with his last run. And at this pace, he might even be at 936 or 937 right as we speak. I haven't actually looked at his channel today. So it is, you can't deny the numbers. A lot of these faux lefty, boutique left channels have been name dropping him like crazy over the last 12 or 15 days, something like that, because that's the only way they can get views. They're just trying to ride the coattails of how hot he is by, calling him out on stuff. Sam Cedars done this, and it's been by far his most viewed video recently anyway, was calling out Jimmy Dore. And I like the fact that Jimmy's not even responding to them anymore. You don't need to. It's only going to give them notoriety. They're trying to poke the bear. I hope that Jimmy just doesn't even respond, because it's really beneath him at this point. So he, over the entire year, has just been draining threes over everybody in the boutique left, and he basically single-handedly kicked the shit out of TYT's network. They're basically on life support now because of him. So, and you can't deny his numbers going up. He gets 3 times the amount of views that Kalinsky does per video at this point. And Kalinsky, incidentally, Jimmy's breathing down Kalinsky's neck in subs right now. Kalinsky's been stuck at 972 to 973 for like 18 months. So, again, pretty soon here. I don't know exactly when, but it won't take long. If Jimmy keeps up this clip, he will pass Kyle Kalinsky here pretty soon, and I'll be very happy that day. I'll make a video, and I'll probably throw a party. That's partially because Jimmy's doing good content, and he's giving you his honest opinion, but it's also partially because Kalinsky's channel is almost unwatchable at this point. And you can tell, I don't know what happened to him, but you can tell he's not giving his honest opinion on a lot of things. And a lot of his opinions, for some reason, have gone really like pro-Democratic Party and pro-Biden lately, and that does not bode well for him. So it's also a big misstep on Kyle's part that he wasn't able to outpace Jimmy for all these last couple of years. So, yeah, that's what you get there, Forrest. So, anyway, I want to give shout-outs to all these people. Go check out their channels if you haven't already seen their channels. Go check out Nick Cruz's Substack, because he's writing on that pretty regularly. And, you know, give him a sub because we are growing. And this makes me very happy, guys. I'm seeing literally a transition in the way that Americans absorb their news. And that bodes well for people like the people on this list. I don't think we're buying the old mainstream button-up rhetoric where your commentator's reading off of a teleprompter from a story that they've been given that they didn't pick themselves, and they may not even believe in themselves, that just comes from higher up. I think we're starting to wake up to the fact that that's all propaganda, and that it's always spun some way or reframed in a way that is not for the people, but for the elitists, and people therefore are turning to different outlets. Outlets like Russell Brand, Jimmy Dore, RBN, Jackson, like all of these channels are gaining more steam because people don't want to be served bullshit every night. They want honest opinions, even if the opinions that are being given from this channel they don't always agree with. At least you know the person talking is a straight shooter, you know? And I think there's a good pattern happening where like mainstream media 2.0, which is TYT, Kalinsky, even Breaking Points, where they're all button up and they're trying to be like mainstream media but just online and just slightly edgier. I don't think people are picking up what those people are laying down either. I don't think they want to see that anymore. That if you're dressed like that and you're delivering your news in that way, people generally I think are like, nah. They don't trust you wholly, and they shouldn't, because we know that that's how propagandists talk. That's how propagandists operate. So it makes me happy to see a lot of these channels doing really good, basically just, you know, getting online, going over the news, jawing, making fun of some people along the way, and trying to entertain your subs. That makes me very happy to see. So congratulations, again, Caleb Maupin, Jackson Hinkle, Franco from Frank Analysis, Russell Brand, Revolutionary Blackout Network, and Jimmy Dore. You guys are the top 5 and notable mention for the first Power Rankings of 2022. Love you guys. Talk to you later.